Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the digital asset investor. You need to go ahead and focus on, we're in March now. At the end of May, you're going to have both Bitcoin Las Vegas and XRP Las Vegas. And you can go to xrplasvegas.com to get your tickets. You can also go and get your Bitcoin tickets. You'll have to just Google Bitcoin Las Vegas. It'll come up. But it's going to be Bitcoin Las Vegas from May 27th to 29th, and then going right into that, May 30th and 31st is XRP Las Vegas. A bunch of huge people coming. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan, David Schwartz, Brad Garlinghouse. You're going to have the CEO of Canary Capital there that's doing an XRP ETF. You're going to have Paul Barron there. You're going to have all kinds of people. You can still get your discounted rooms, and there's a link here for discounted room at MGM Grand, that's where XRP Las Vegas is. Bitcoin Las Vegas is going to be at the Venetian right there. I will be going. Okay, the market's pretty flat. We had a good response to this, the core consumer price inflation slowest in 4 years. As energy costs tumble. Then we've got this Steve Leisman, who is the propaganda arm of CNBC, more than anybody on there, in my opinion. I'm going to say this at the risk of losing my job, but what President Trump is doing is insane. And I said, that's bullish. Here's a good explanation of what's really going on from honest people.
There were 2 times in the last 80 years or so where we've had dramatic reductions in government spending. One of them was after World War II. Believe it or not, government spending at that time, at the height of the war, was 55% of GDP. It went all the way down to 18% of GDP in 3 years. And guess what, Larry? The economy boomed. It didn't shrink. The economy boomed. We put people back to work. And the other instance, which is sort of similar to today, was when Bill Clinton came into office after we had won the Cold War, thanks to Reagan, and we cut government spending from about 24% of GDP to 18% of GDP. And guess what? We had the biggest stock market boom ever and a huge increase in employment in the private sector. So the idea that government stimulates private sector is wrong. The more you can get these costs down in government, the more you free up and liberate the private sector to hire more people. And I've got to say, in listening to what my hero Elon Musk is saying, he is identifying for the American people how absurdly we're spending money. And what really bothers me, Larry, is the left's response to this and the Democrats' response is if he's the villain. It's not the waste, it's he's the villain for exposing it. And look, if you're a Democrat and you believe in good government, you should believe in good government and not bad government, and they're defending bad government. So they just believe in big government. They don't believe in good.
And they're taking care of the waste and fraud, and then they're increasing our income with tariffs on the front end. Like I said, there's going to be some short-term pain because of uncertainty, but then at some point the negotiations will be worked out, and all of a sudden Donald Trump has created us a new income. Now, this video completely captures my thoughts on XRP. This is Jeff Bezos talking about Amazon stock. He's talking about when the Amazon stock price was really low, what he was seeing. And so he had studied what was really going on in his company versus the stock price going down. This is exactly the way I see XRP and the coming internet of value.
Because the stock is not the company, and the company is not the stock. And so as I watched the stock fall from 113 to 6, I was also watching all of our internal business metrics, number of customers, profit per unit, everything you can imagine, defects, etc. Every single thing about the business was getting better and fast. And so as the stock price was going the wrong way, everything inside the company was going the right way. And we didn't need to go back to the capital markets. We didn't need more money. The only reason, a financial bust like the internet bubble bursting is, makes it really hard to raise money. But, we already had the money we needed. So we just needed to continue to progress because
Who else already has the money that they need? Who's got $1 billion in cash? Who's been building the financial rails for a decade? Who's got an XRP stockpile? Who's buying U.S. treasuries with real USD? Who's tokenizing U.S. treasuries? Who's in the digital asset stockpile of the United States? That would be a company called Ripple and a digital asset called XRP. And then there's this. This is the Franklin Templeton CEO, Jenny Johnson, who she knows exactly what's coming. They just announced an XRP ETF that they filed for an XRP ETF. She also works with Stellar. No coincidence.
First of all, I think it's really important to think of blockchain as a technology, as a programming language, right? That does certain things really well. I do think that it's likely that ETFs and mutual funds will ultimately be built on blockchain just because it's an incredibly efficient technology. And then there's the crypto world, some of which I think has tremendous opportunity, and some of which I think it'll be noise. It'll be a little bit like the .com era when, eventually you had some of the...
What's the noise right now, folks? What did she call a distraction? Bitcoin.
Biggest companies of the next decade that came out of it, and then you had a lot that kind of blew away to the side. And so I think the crypto...
I'd go a step further and say that retail is the noise, or maybe a useful vessel.
The world is similar. I think the thing with the Trump administration is we're going to start to see them converge more, the TradFi and the crypto, which is something that we need. We need to have some sort of regulatory clarity so that you can bring these together because fundamentally it will drive out costs and there is great innovation that the technology enables.
All right. And here, just as a reminder, here's the list of companies that have filed XRP ETFs. Bitwise, Canary Capital, 21 shares, Wisdom Tree, Pro Shares, Coin Shares, Grayscale, Volatility Shares, Franklin Templeton. Just wait, we're gonna have Morgan Stanley and BlackRock and probably Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. Everybody's gonna be on that list before it's over. Dark Defender, XRP's finalized correction on the 4-hour time frame. Let's go down to the good stuff. The real momentum will start for after XRP stands above the Ichimoku, I can't say that, Ichimoku clouds. Targets 429, 585. I think Linda P. Jones has it right here. I don't think David Sachs is walking back what Trump said about XRP. I think he's trying to unite the crypto sphere to get legislation passed, which is also what BG has been trying to do. The Bitcoin maxis are dead set against XRP or any crypto other than Bitcoin. So saying it was a top 5 asset was downplaying XRP to help pacify the maxis. The two separate reserve stockpiles are because the plans for a future of the assets are very different. In Bitcoin Reserve, you have the Federal Reserve waste pile, I like that, Federal Reserve waste pile, where the fiat dollar will be discarded and will go to die. The digital asset stockpile is where the interoperable digital assets will be that will run the new financial system. The XRP assets in the stockpile will come from the judge's ruling, the $125 million fine paid in XRP. The U.S. Treasury will take over from the Fed. The old Fed dollar will no longer be used, and the new Treasury note will replace it. This will happen globally, and each country will have new money from their treasury, not central banks. They will have an asset-backed digital version run on the XRP ledger. The only part she didn't include is the potential for some of that XRP escrow to be part of the deal with Trump to go to the U.S. Treasury. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I'm saying it's possible. Rumble is going to buy $17.1 million in Bitcoin. Now, Andy Schectman calls it right here. This is pure common sense. You may want to close your ears, Bitcoin maxis, if you're listening.
The maxi theory is that other countries would sell their gold for Bitcoin. What are your thoughts?
I think that's preposterous, to be honest with you. It's easy for Michael Saylor to say that. That certainly would benefit MicroStrategies. I think it's irresponsible and stupidity, to be honest with you. the BIS would not have reclassified gold as the only other tier 1 reserve asset, and the central banks would be buying Bitcoin, not gold. I think it's silly, to be honest. And I'm not raining on the Bitcoin parade. I'm just simply saying I don't think that has a snowball's chance in hell of happening, to be honest with you. Assets make people wealthy, not bank accounts. And if indeed this is what he is doing, he's accumulating assets and reshoring them. Same thing with the Bitcoin. It is an asset within a strategic account, but I don't think that it will be the backbone of a new financial system. You cannot have something like Bitcoin, which can fall by 20 or 30% in a very short period of time, be standing behind a system. But it certainly can be an asset. It can certainly be something to help pay down your debt. It has a role.
Pay down your debt and maybe buy some land.
But I don't think it has a role.
And provide exit liquidity from the whales that own the large percentage of Bitcoin.
As the backbone of the U.S. dollar, or whatever that new U.S. dollar truly is.
Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. We've got more, but most importantly, for those of you that are listening to me who still don't understand the big picture of what's coming, I'm going to show it to you. You will understand after you watch this, okay? It was never Bitcoin. I've said it 1,000 times. It was never Bitcoin. I do believe they're going to let Bitcoin go up to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, okay? I do believe that. But I also believe that at some time, at some point, when we transition to the real digital assets that are going to run the financial system, there's a high potential for a rug pull too. So I think that Bitcoin is going to be a game of financial musical chairs, whereas the utility assets will not be. Once we have legislation and the level playing field and everything kicks in, that's why they're scrambling around to get this a government mandate for Bitcoin so much. Okay, but even that, there's still at some point, I believe, going to be a rug pull. Okay, so we're going to go in there, and when you get done in the group today, you will get it. All right. So go to DAIXRP.com to join through the Patreon. You can also, if you'd rather, join through the YouTube channel. Go to below this YouTube video, click the join button, and that is the same stuff. It's extended videos with no advertising. So if you like that. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.